very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Stephen George and our sign language interpreter tonight is Paul Madenge. Remember, you can contact us here at GBS News 21144 is our SMS line now. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission panel has met today for the first time since their swearing in on Thursday and are set to conduct the elections for the electoral commissioners, starting from the chairperson as leaders led by President of the Judiciary, urging the panelists to remain independent and avoid being influenced. She has urged them to remain firm and make the independent decision.
Strong institutions are the bedrock of our democracy. The IBC, like all constitutional commissions, must be around to function independently, free from political or external interference. As a nation, we must remain committed to ensuring that our institutions serve the people, not personal interests. Let us not lose sight of the weight of this moment. The work you embark on today is not just about filling positions. It's about securing the legitimacy of our elections, the stability of our government, and the future of our democracy.
Amnesty Kenya, the Law Society of Kenya, and the Police Reforms Working Group have condemned the discovery of two bodies at Nairobi Funeral Home, formerly City Mortuary. The bodies of two of the three men abducted from Lolongo were found earlier this week, prompting calls for a post-mortem and independent investigation. The groups are demanding answers from authorities who have been denying knowledge of the men's whereabouts.
Amnesty Kenya, the Law Society of Kenya, and the Police Reforms Working Group have today condemned the deaths of two men whose bodies were discovered at City Mortuary. The men Justice Mutumwa and Martin Mwau were among three individuals abducted from Lolongo, and their bodies were found recently under mysterious circumstances. In a joint statement released earlier today, the groups expressed their horror over the discovery, calling for an independent post-mortem examination to determine the cause of death. The statement also demanded a thorough investigation into abductions and killings by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. The groups have also called on the National Police Service to establish a missing persons database to improve coordination and communication when handling such cases. This follows troubling revelations that the police and the DCI were unaware of the whereabouts of the two men, despite their bodies being brought to the morgue by officers from Roy Police Station. The Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and DCI boss Mohammed Amin appeared in court yesterday to shed light on the disappearances. However, they denied any knowledge of the missing men's whereabouts, with the DCI stating they were not in the custody of National Police Service. The case has drawn widespread concern, with many demanding greater accountability from law enforcement agencies in handling of missing persons cases. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
Deputy President encourages youth to seek guidance. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has urged graduates to embrace available opportunities while remaining open to mentorship from experienced professionals. Speaking at Olu's National Polytechnic first ever graduation ceremony in Nandi County, Kindiki emphasized the role of young minds in shaping Kenya's future. He highlighted the need for collaboration between generations to foster national growth and innovation. Now, addressing the 2,367 graduates, their families and faculty members, Kindiki underscored the government's commitment to equipping technical and vocational education and training institutions with necessary resources to produce industry-ready professionals. He encouraged the graduates to utilize their skills in sectors such as manufacturing, agriculture, and digital innovation, noting that Kenya's job market is evolving and increasingly favoring technical expertise. The Deputy President reiterated the government's ongoing efforts to boost youth employment through initiatives such as Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project and the Jitume Digital Hubs. Now, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the unemployment rate among Kenyan youth stands at approximately 13.5%, with over 1 million young people entering the job market annually. The government has increased funding for TVET institutions, with the Higher Education Loans Board disbursing 11.2 billion shillings in 2023 to support students in technical courses.
So, graduates, you are looking at the Deputy President here today and wondering, please, Mr. Deputy President, are you assuring me that I have an opportunity? Are you just saying that it is going to be okay? I want to confirm it is going to be okay. We take youth empowerment and creation of jobs and opportunity for young people so seriously that, as some of the speakers have said, we are creating jobs at home, but we are also creating digital jobs. Graduates, some may want to tell you that there is no opportunity. I am here to tell you there is opportunity. I am here to tell you and to demonstrate to you where the opportunity is, because there is opportunity for each one of you to make a living, to get a job, to get engaged, to create jobs for other Kenyans. And since you have done your part was to study and get a qualification. The rest of the work is the work of government to provide the opportunities for you to realize.
Political storm is brewing as Public Service Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi takes on his government over the escalating cases of abductions and extrajudicial killings. In a bold and emotional address, Muturi is calling on President William Ruto to take immediate action, saying the government cannot continue to turn a blind eye while young Kenyans disappear under mysterious circumstances. Our reporter Susan Nyanza has more details.
Right, that parents like these ones and relatives can stay for periods in excess of 40 days looking for their loved young ones, and we sit somewhere claiming that we are discussing matters about the economy of this country. Economy for who? If we are killing them, abducting and killing the young ones, so who are you doing the economy for?
Tension is mounting as families across the country demand answers following the wave of abductions and brutal killings. And at the center of it all, Public Service Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi now taking a stand against his own administration yet again. The outcry comes after the bodies of two young men, Martin Mwau and Justus Mutumwa, were found at the Nairobi Funeral Home, formerly known as the City Mortuary. Their families had been searching for them for over a month, only to find them lifeless and dumped in a morgue.
Fingerprint ndo zilichukuliwa. Mwili ilipatikana tarehe 18 December. So fingerprints zimechukuliwa January. December. They said they want to take the test for 1 month. So fingerprints zimetoka jana, wakasema hii mwili iko hapa City Mortuary ni Justus.
Muturi, visibly emotional, accused security agencies of either being complicit or failing in their duty to protect.
As we are here mourning and grieving about these 4 who have gone missing, we are also aware that 2 young men were killed in Nakuru. In circumstances that are very clear that those involved are security personnel. I want to say We cannot be told that the police do not know. Our police is known to be one of the most efficient in this region. And therefore, if they wanted to crack this matter and bring the culprits to book, it will be a matter of just a few days or hours. So,
he reminded the nation that President Ruto had promised an end to enforced disappearance during his campaign.
During the campaigns, we went around the country saying that abductions, extrajudicial killings would never happen at our watch. But now it is happening. It has been happening and we are trying to normalize it.
Despite his sharp criticism, Muturi has dismissed calls for his resignation, insisting that his primary duty is to speak for the voiceless. He is now pushing for the formation of a commission of inquiry involving the Law Society of Kenya, religious leaders, and human rights groups to investigate the rising cases of disappearance.
When everybody else was enjoying their Christmas, surely this must be something that we must take to the next level, where we must involve in a commission of inquiry, which must include people from all sectors. The Law Society should come up, be part of that commission of inquiry, religious groups, and the civil society groups like Amnesty International and others. Kenya Human Rights Commission. All of them, they should be involved in that commission, because we want the truth, and to put an end to this, we cannot take it as business as usual anymore.
Muturi's outburst now puts the Ruto administration in a difficult position. Will the president heed the call and order a full investigation? Or will this be yet another case of political rhetoric with no action? Susan Nganga, GBS News.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki today visited Kieni, Nyeri County to inspect ongoing road construction projects aimed at improving connectivity and economic growth. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to completing key infrastructural developments, emphasizing their role in transforming Kenya's economic landscape. Nyeri County has been allocated 17 billion shillings over the next 3 years for road construction covering 464 kilometers. One of the major projects under review includes the upgrading of Endarasha Charity Gakanga, Embarigo, Kimunyuru Junction, D447 Moiga, Mairo roads in Kieni constituency, which is being upgraded to bitumen standards with performance-based routine maintenance. Now, the project, valued at 2.3 billion shillings, is expected to enhance transportation efficiency for residents and businesses. The 66.9-kilometer road construction began in August 2019 and is projected to be completed by August 2026. The initiative aligns with Kenya's broader infrastructure development agenda, which has seen increased government investment in roads, energy, and water projects nationally. Kenya has allocated over 500 billion shillings to infrastructure in the 2024-2025 fiscal year, with the road network being a top priority to support trade and industrial growth.
You handle the fundamental and basic issues first, and therefore the president was addressing inflation, cost of living, cost of fuel, stability of the shilling. Lakini sasa kwa sababu uchumi ni thabiti, tuko na pesa ya kujenga barabara. Na sio barabara tu. Unajua kuna barabara nyingi tutajenga hapa Nyeri County. Nitarudi, siko nyingi, nitarudi kuangalia vile zinaendelea. Ndio wakati zitakamilika, sasa niende niambie rais akuja afungue yeye mwenyewe. Hapa Nyeri County, vile tunaongea, tunajenga barabara zaidi ya 12 katika sehemu mbalimbali hapa Nyeri County. 17 billion shillings worth of roads. Over 12 roads worth 17 billion here in Nyeri County. Moja ya hiyo barabara ni hii barabara yetu. Na habari njema ni kwamba serikali iko na pesa ya kukamilisha barabara hizo zote.
We are taking a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
So through the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고
He carried our sins,
십자가에 못 박혀 죽어 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins,
무덤에 들어가셨다가
and he was put into the tomb
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being
우리
crucified.
죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our
그래서
sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Remove my skin and I won't cry, but you might. What am I? Are you still practicing art ukifanya your engineering? Umezimix ama umeenda tu fully on art? Sasa najua, hebu kwanza tutajia, because najua huwezi taja wote. Just some of the people wenye, some of the celebs wenye umeweza ku reveal your art to them.
J. Kroba, bibi yake. Hiyo siku walifurahia mbaya. Na mimi nilikuwa emotional mbaya sana.
Lilia.
Go and check that video, guys. Nililia mbaya.
I was seeing kuna place ulikuwa unasema like Biendo alikusaidia sana in building your career. Unaweza tuambie hiyo moment venye ilikuanga?
We.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back. Now, the High Court has declared the nomination of Zablon Muruka Mukua as the judge of the East African Court of Justice, and Constitutional Justice Chacha Muita stated that the nomination did not follow required procedures, particularly in the involvement of the Judicial Service Commission.
That the nomination of Zablon Muruka Mukua as a judge of the East African Court of Justice is unconstitutional. In his judgment, Justice Chacha Muita emphasized that Mukua's nomination did not comply with the requirements set out in Article 24 of the treaty establishing the East African Community. He pointed out that the Judicial Service Commission must be involved in the assessment of any candidate for the East Africa Court Justice. Mukua, a former member of the County Assembly for Basi Ward, was nominated on April 18, 2024 by the then East African Community Cabinet Secretary Penina Malonza to replace Justice Charles Nyachae, who resigned in early 2024. However, The Law Society of Kenya challenged the nomination in court, arguing that the Cabinet Secretary has no authority to nominate a judge, as the JSC is solely responsible for such nominations. The LSK also contended that Mokau did not meet the necessary qualifications for the position of a judge of Superior Court in Kenya, and by extension for the East African Court by Justice First Instance Division. The LSK further argued that the nomination process was carried out in secrecy, violating key principles of governance including the rule of law, public participation and transparency. They stated that by selecting Mokua without a competitive process, the Attorney General and Cabinet Secretary denied other qualified Kenyans the chance to apply for the position. The court's ruling invalidates Mokua's nomination and underscores the need for adherence to constitutional processes in judicial appointments. This decision calls for a greater transparency and accountability in the selection of judges for the East African Court of Justice. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
The Kenya National Examination Council (NEC) makes a crucial announcement issuing new registration guidelines for the 2025 KPSEA and CLEAR exams. Now, with the registration window now officially open, NEC has outlined key steps that learners, parents and school heads must follow to ensure a smooth process. Now, Susan Nganga reports.
For parents and learners preparing for the 2025 National Assessment, the clock is ticking. NEC has officially rolled out the registration process, giving schools until February 28 to ensure all eligible candidates are enlisted for the exams. According to NEC Chief Executive Officer Devin Jengere, all grade 6 learners in the regular curriculum must be registered afresh through the NEC online portal. For learners following the stage-based pathway under CLEAR, their readiness for assessment will be determined by their teachers before being registered through a separate portal. The Council has emphasized that only eligible learners from accredited institutions will be allowed to sit for the exams. Schools must also finalize any candidate transfers before February 28. To ease the financial burden, NEC has confirmed that the government will fully cover the registration fees for all learners in both public and private schools. However, non-citizen candidates must pay 750 shillings through the e-Citizen platform. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization has launched a soil sampling initiative in Embu County as part of a nationwide program aimed at improving agricultural productivity. The program, which began after training over 60 young agripreneurs, seeks to provide farmers with critical information about soil composition to enhance crop yields.
Soil sampling has started in Embu County. This comes after the Kenyan Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization trained over 60 young agripreneurs last week. Embu is one of 7 counties chosen for a new government program to test soil before expanding the project countrywide. Other counties include Tharaka Nithi, Kitui, Makueni, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu and Kajiado. Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization researcher Peterson Njero says soil samples will be collected and analyzed within a week. Results are expected by the end of March. This will help farmers understand their soil nutrients, pH levels, and structure.
Hii mradi tunafanya soil sampling. Hii kazi itafanywa na wale vijana wameandikwa na serikali, wanaitwa agripreneurs. Tunatafanya sampling kwa wakulima. Hiyo sample itakuja kwetu, tutaifanyia analysis.
Why does this matter? Farmers will now know the best fertilizers for their soil, leading to better crop and higher yields. The government will also use this data to improve the fertilizer subsidy program. Embu County Chief Officer for Agriculture, Njeru Mwita, says this will transform farming in the region, making it more profitable.
We are taking this exercise very seriously because for a long time, most of the farmers have not been knowing which type of fertilizer to put in their farms. But today, after this exercise, most of the farmers, we shall be knowing the type of soils we have in Embu and the kind of nutrients we would like to put in our soils.
Farmers are encouraged to work closely with the teams conducting this important exercise. Joy Courier, GBS News.
The surge in government criticism and protest since the formation of broad-based government is a pointer that a clique of politicians still harbors the notion that some communities cannot be trusted with leadership positions. Alego Usonga legislature Samuel Atandi has said, now according to Atandi, President William Ruto's administration is not under attack because of poor governance, but due to dissatisfaction from an anti-government faction that is unhappy with the inclusion of leaders from regions like Nyanza in key ministries. He argued that this opposition is fueled by tribal biasness rather than policy concerns. Speaking at Gangu sub-location in his constituency after officially opening a 2-classroom block at Nyakado Primary School constructed through the Constituency Development Fund, Atandi called on Nyanza residents to stand firmly behind President and reject divisive politics. He said since the formation of broad-based government, Ruto has faced resistance from different quarters. The reason is being fought he's been fought because some people believe that he's committed a sacrilegious act by appointing Luos in strategic positions.
So you have seen that in the recent past, especially since the formation of the broad-based government, President Ruto has faced a lot of trouble from across the country. There are people who are fighting the president, even without basis, organized opposition. I want to tell you people that the reason why the president is being fought the way he's being fought is because some people think that the president has done a sacrilegious act of nominating a person who should be on the lower case to be in charge and to preside over certain strategic government positions. This is the reality of the matter. Ruto is not being fought because he's bad. What Ruto is doing is there are normal things that even Kibaki did. Uhuru did these things Ruto is doing. But how come everywhere you go there's an uprising against Ruto? The hidden reality is that Ruto is being fought because he is doing things that people have not done and people did not think should be done. One of them is to place a Luo at the heart of economic governance of Kenya. That today a Luo is the one that is going to carry the briefcase and is the Minister of Finance. I want to tell you, Luos, that your inclusion in this government is the reason the government is being fought left and right and center.
Kenya Power has posted a 9.97 billion shillings net profit for the half-year ending December 31st, 2024, driven by increased electricity sales, lower power purchase cost, and reduced financial expenses. The company credited the gains to the Kenya shilling stability, which cut forex-related costs, despite a 4 billion shillings rise in operating expenses for the network maintenance and expansion. Here is most.
Kenya Power has recorded 9.97 billion Kenyan shillings profit after tax for the last financial year ended December 31st, 2024. The company made the announcement on Friday, attributing the immense financial gain to increased electricity sales, lower cost of sales, and reduced finance costs driven by the stability of the Kenyan shilling against major foreign currencies. The Kenya Power Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Dr. Siror Joseph revealed that electricity sales increased by 5% to 5,506 gigawatts per hour, compared to 5,225 gigawatts per hour, recorded during a similar period in the previous financial year. Dr. Siror said despite the growth in electricity sales, power purchase costs were reduced by 11.65 billion Kenyan shillings and finance costs by 13 billion Kenyan shillings to 1.97 billion Kenyan shillings in December 2024 from 15 billion Kenyan shillings in December 2023. In other updates, Kenya's inflation rose to 3.3% in January 2025, up from 3% in the previous month, driven by higher food and transport costs, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. The Bureau attributed the increase of rising prices in food and non-alcoholic beverages categories, as well as transport costs. Food prices saw a 6.1% year-on-year increase, with notable changes in vegetable prices. Tomatoes rose by 17.9%, while onions increased by 6.8%. Transport costs edged up by 0.7%, further contributing to inflationary pressures. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
It is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone! Welcome to Fun. Alright class, friends, do you know what we're going to make today? Yes, we're going to make a star. Now let's begin our class. Time to make. First, you're going to fold your paper into triangles. Ta-da! Now we're done with the star.
AS and A levels is a qualification program that is advanced. That is after one has completed the high GCSE program, then they advise to continue for AS and A level. AS typically is a 1-year program, and A levels is done in the 2nd year after completing the AS level. And this one equips the student with the knowledge that is recommended for the university and also by employers outside the countries or within the country.
And the question of the day is, can you survive without internet?
Ngumu. Plus kuachilia hizo story tu zote zikupite ni ngori.
Niwaambie ukweli. Like hii ni kama kuambia mtu mwenye alikuwa amezoea kushindana nguo, mwambie toa nguo ushinde uchi. Hiyo huku tricky kwa sababu sasa like ilikuwa imekuingia kwa kichwa kabisa.
Mimi nimesomea day school na niocha. So kukuwa na simu hadi ni ile katururu, si smartphone, ni ile katururu.
Sasa unaweza kaa holi ya bila simu.
Spend most of the time kwa simu. Also you need to run skills. So nilipatana na place hapa nikapply huko. And then I started learning skills. Digital skills.
Yes, hadi siku mbili haiwezi.
Kwa wiki naachilia hata kama ni siku mbili ama sometimes na extend to wiki nzima. Napata shiki simu yangu.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back now to international news. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS bloc have reshaped the geopolitical dynamics of the Sahel region. This withdrawal comes after ECOWAS bloc imposed sanctions on the 3 big countries, used military intervention, and suspending the 3 countries from a bloc temporarily due to coup and delay of democratic election in the countries.
The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS bloc have reshaped the geopolitical dynamics of the Sahel region. This withdrawal comes after ECOWAS bloc imposed sanctions on the 3 big countries, used military intervention and suspending the 3 countries from the bloc temporarily due to coups and delay of democratic election in the countries. The 3 countries have accused ECOWAS of deviating from the founding principles by colluding with Western nations. This has led to 3 countries forming a confederation of the Alliance of the Sahel State. The citizens of these 3 countries seem to support this new political path. Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, the youngest president in the whole world, has recently challenged ECOWAS by stating democratic election is not important. What is the most important thing is the security, food and economic development of the nation. Since he came to power, he has initiated various projects in Burkina Faso and improved the security state in the country. While the alliance gains popular support, its long-term success will depend on delivering tangible results amid regional and international pressures.
Well, to shed more in this story, our reporter Paris Kigo got up close and personal with journalist Wenin Zibro. Here's the story.
Recently, we have seen this shifting of geopolitical landscape in the Sahel region. And we are seeing countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they have formed a coalition government in the Sahel region. As people of Burkina Faso, do you appreciate this new alliance of the Sahel state?
Yeah, we have to make some precision. They used to make confusion. The AES, the coalition of Mali, Burkina, and Niger, is not a regional organization. It's a confederation.
Yes.
It's something who can become the beginning of United States of Africa.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
That's why we appreciate it very well.
Okay.
Why? Because in the first moment of our independence, our former president tried to make something like that.
Okay.
Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, Thomas Sankara, they tried to unify Africa.
Yes.
And now, the Mali, Burkina, Niger is the beginning, the noyau, the first thing, the grain who can become the United States of Africa. We appraise it very, very well.
That means recently I had the Ibrahim Traoré say democracy does not matter, election does not matter. What matters most is the security and the development in the country. So as a Burkina Faso people, you agree with him, the election does not matter.
We are just open our eyes and we see the truth now. We know that we need to be ourselves to decide for our futures. And democracy or election or those things is just the instrument that Occidental use to dominate us.
Okay.
Is clear now in our eyes. It's very clear now. And according to our president, Goita, Traoré, and Chani, we see what is an important thing for us is our future, is our development, is how we have to do and be very free and manage our resource for us. Make us free now.
Since Ibrahim Traoré came into power as the president of Burkina Faso, have he transformed the security state in the Sahel region?
Yeah. Let me give you some example. Ibrahim Traoré creates 25, and this is the first thing happening in Africa. Mm-hmm. He transformed our army and make our army strong because he buy more and more equipment for us. Mm-hmm. It's the first time we have drone to look at our area very well, and now we start to go and search for terrorists. Before the terrorists come on us and attack us, but now is not the same. The army becomes strong. The army become the recruit more pupils on the army, and now the army is very strong, and the security situation is going better and better.
So recently we saw ECOWAS actually they disengaged from these three countries because Burkina Faso they have delayed in democratic participation. So as a Burkina Faso people, do you appreciate the military-led government, or maybe you want the democratic process? Do you want the democratic governance, or you just want to be led by militants?
During a long time, they are lying us. The European make us think that democratic is election. Yeah. No, it's a lie.
Yeah,
it's a very big lie because they use this kind of speech to put us on domination. What is a democratic process? That ECOWAS, look at in ECOWAS, there are presidents who make forced to come on power, like Ambelo, Sisako Ambelo, the president of Guinea-Bissau.
Yes.
He cut the parliament. He cut the organization who has to make an election, and they tell us that this kind of president is a democratic one. Why? It's a lie. We are just open our house now. We know that the first thing which is important for us is a freedom, is dignity, is how to be ourselves. In the democratic process, we are exploited by Occidentals. We are exploited by imperialism. That's why ECOWAS is not on democratic way. No, it's a lie.
ECOWAS is not in the democratic ways.
No, it's not in democratic ways because there was a president there who is transformed the constitution to bring third mandat, fourth mandat. Is not democratic way.
Okay.
ECOWAS can't give us a democratic lesson. It's a lie because ECOWAS is just an instrument which is using by Occidental to dominate us. That's why the three countries decide to cut it. It's not a democratic way. It's a lie because we see what they do. We see what they do with the on the citizen, like Ivory Coast. It's not a democratic way. Take Nigeria. Take Guinea-Bissau. It's not a democratic way. No.
Yeah.
And that's why we prefer to be to get a militaries on our country and get a very good management, a very good governance, like Ibrahim Traore doing like now, like Chinese doing on the in Nigeria, like Goita doing in Mali. This is a very good governance. Why? Because they put the citizen aspiration on front.
Okay.
They're trying to work to bring the resource to the pupils.
Okay.
And that's why we are very, very support them. Since our independence, it's now the Burkina, Mali, and Niger is very free.
Yeah, the three countries are forming a confederation.
Yeah, is now.
Yeah.
If not before, we are still on domination. Till now, Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau, they are not free. The politician just wait for the order who is coming from France. The France tell them to do this, to do that, and they have just to do it.
So that means ECOWAS is not credible in executing its mandate.
ECOWAS is not credible now.
Yeah, ECOWAS is not credible.
Yeah, in Africa, ECOWAS is not credible. And now, you know, we are just open our eyes and we see the truth now. We know that we need to be ourselves to decide for our futures. And you know, democracy or election or those things is just the instrument that Occidental use to dominate us. We appreciate what our president is doing.
Yeah, so you appreciate the military-led government.
What?
You appreciate the leadership of the militants.
Yeah, we appreciate it because even ECOWAS was created by militaries.
Yeah.
ECOWAS was created by militaries.
Yes.
Take around the world. The good president in those countries was militaries. Take France. De Gaulle was a military. Take England. Churchill is a military. Take, Canada. Brever was a military. ECOWAS. Many examples. The militaries get some things in the kind to governance. They look at how to be free, how to make them the country very sovereign. That's why we appreciate it very well.
So you think this current government or this leadership of Ibrahim Traoré is going to improve the security in Burkina Faso, is going to improve the economic state of Burkina Faso?
Yeah, we get many example. You know, just in just 3 years, Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso make something which 13 years we never do it here. Just 3 years. He creates our gold reserve. We get 13 ton of gold now in our country.
That's in tons of gold.
Yeah, in our country. Something which never done before.
Okay.
We create now an industry.
Yes.
Now we are producing what we need, and we are creating industry to transform it, and we don't need a support of external.
Okay.
Look at this. Our budget now, we don't need a support of Occidental. France don't give us money. England, USA, nobody give us money. And we are buying everything for our country by ourselves.
So that means you are satisfied with that government?
Very, very satisfied.
In final remarks, as we are going to conclude this, so you have told me you are satisfied with that democratic process. And do you think this Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso formation is going to bring a huge development? Is going to transform the Sahel region?
Yeah. The thing which Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger form is a beginning of United States of Africa. You know, I'm telling this today because we are dreaming from something. And now we see the beginning of this thing. What Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger is doing, they are doing something that we are looking for since our independence. We don't have it, and now it's beginning.
So that means by disengaging from ECOWAS, they actually took a new path, a new political path to improve the Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger.
I don't understand the question.
Since they disengage, like now that they have disengaged from ECOWAS, they have now taken a shift, a new political path to transform Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So they did the right thing.
Yeah.
They have done the right thing.
ECOWAS is not good thing for us.
So ECOWAS is not good for Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. ECOWAS is not credible. ECOWAS is not improving the Sahel region.
No, it's not good for our region.
And before that, do you think this military-led government is going to improve human rights in Burkina Faso?
You know, the imperialism use three things to dominate us. They use human rights when they want to make some bad thing to us. They say that no, we don't respect human rights.
Yeah, something like I heard ECOWAS said that they don't actually implement human rights. Is it true?
Nah, it's false.
It's false.
It's false because human rights is using just for the imperialism to dominate us. Look at what they do. In Senegal, somebody was killing there. Nothing is happening. Human rights was...
That was a stellar report by our very own correspondent, Paris Kigo. Now, In Goma, the aftermath of fierce fighting between M23 rebels and Congolese forces is evident, with bodies still lying in the streets as much as of the city without power or water. The M23, backed by Rwanda, has seized control of Goma and is now threatening to move deeper into South Kivu province and possibly towards the capital Kinshasa. As the conflict intensifies, President Felix Tshisekedi promises a strong response.
The streets of Goma are grim today, with bodies, many in military uniforms, still scattered across the city, a stark reminder of the violence that has plagued the area since the 26th of January. The fighting between M23 rebels and the Congolese armed forces has left the city in chaos, and despite calls from M23 to reopen businesses, most of Goma remains without electricity and water. The M23, originally formed in 2012 by ex-Tutsi rebels with Rwandan support, reignited their rebellion in 2021. Since then, the violence has displaced 500,000 people and made the humanitarian crisis in eastern Congo even worse. In Goma, hundreds of Congolese soldiers, police officers, and militia members have been seen being escorted by M23 rebels. The rebels claim these soldiers have surrendered and will be integrated into their ranks after undergoing training. As the situation in Goma becomes more unstable, the M23 has said they plan to advance further into South Kivu province, possibly pushing towards Kinshasa, the capital. The United Nations estimates that the M23 is being backed by around 4,000 Rwandan soldiers, a much larger force than the group had in 2012. This growing military presence has left residents in Goma and nearby areas in fear, with many continuing to flee the region, wary of further violence. The city remains on edge, with the ongoing conflict threatening to escalate even further. Reporting for GPS News, Irene Juguna.
After more than an year in captivity, Israeli soldier Agam Bega has been released by Hamas as part of a ceasefire agreement. She was among 5 female Israeli soldiers kidnapped in the October 7th Hamas attacks. 4 others were freed last week.
After months of fear and insanity, Agam Bega is finally home. Hamas released her on Thursday as a part of the ongoing ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Before her transfer to the Red Cross, Bega was paraded through the heavily damaged Jabalia refugee camp. The emotional release marked the end of her captivity. Along with Bega, 2 Israeli civilians, Albel Yohud, 29 years old, and Gadi Moses, who is 80 years, were also freed, as well as 5 Thai agricultural workers. The exchange is part of a larger agreement between the 2 sides. In return, Israel is expected to release 110 Palestinian prisoners, including 30 children. The government has delayed their release after the scene of chaos in Gaza during previous exchange. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the hostage handover in Gaza shocking after images showed masked gunmen leading captives through crowds. Since the ceasefire began on January 19th, a total of 15 hostages have been freed. However, 82 captives remain in Gaza, awaiting their turn for freedom. Back in Israel, Bega was reunited with her parents. Her mother, in tears, held her close and promised, "We are here and we are never leaving you." The ceasefire deal is expected to secure the release of 33 hostages in its first week. Families on both sides watch and wait, hoping for good news soon. Jekuria, GBS News.
Tensions escalate as Israel enforces a controversial law barring its officials from contact with the UN Palestinian Relief Agency, United Nations Relief and Work Agency for Palestinian Refugees. The move has sparked strong reactions from global powers, with the UK, France and Germany expressing grave concern over the shutdown of critical humanitarian operations. The decision threatens the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, raising fears of renewed conflict.
For more than 7 decades, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, has been a lifeline for Palestinian refugees, providing essential humanitarian aid, healthcare, and education. But now, its operation in the Palestinian territories face a major blow after Israel moved to sever all official contacts. Israel alleges that UNRWA has provided cover for Hamas, even accusing some staff of involvement in the deadly October 7th attack, claims the agency strongly denies. However, Israel has yet to provide concrete evidence to support this accusation. The international community has been quick to react, with the UK, France, and Germany issuing a joint statement warning that shutting down UNRWA's work could destabilize the region and jeopardize ongoing ceasefire efforts. Meanwhile, UNRWA officials cautioned that without its services, millions of Palestinian refugees could be left without food, medical assistance, and basic necessities, depending on an already dire humanitarian crisis. With the diplomatic tensions mounting and the fate of UNRWA hanging in the balance, the question remains, will global intervention prevent a further humanitarian catastrophe, or is the region on the brink of another crisis? Reporting for GBS News, Irene Juguna.
And to your favorite segment of the show, the sports news. Let's get sporty. The Kenya Commercial Bank on Thursday renewed its sponsorship deal with the World Rallies Championship Safari Rally ahead of its year edition, reaffirming its position as Kenya's leading sports sponsor. The bank injected 209 million shillings to the iconic motorsports event slated for March 20th to 23rd of this year in Naivasha, underscoring its dedication to developing talent, fostering national cohesion, and driving economic growth.
This year, KCB is sponsoring 4 local rally drivers, including Nikhil Sachania, Evans Kavisi, Tinashe Gatimu, and Karan Patel. Out of the sponsorship, 100 million Kenyan shillings will be allocated to the Kenya Motorsport Federation to facilitate preparation and logistics and ensure the event runs seamlessly. An additional 23 million Kenyan shillings will directly support 4 local drivers, Karan Patel, Nikhil Sachania, Tinashe Gatimu, and Evans Kavisi. 86 million Kenyan shillings is set aside for activations, hospitality, branding, and revision a KCB campaign that aims to encourage savings culture among Kenyans. Since the return of the WRC Safari Rally to Kenyan soil in 2021, KCB as the lead sponsor has spent 800 million Kenyan shillings and invested 2.3 billion Kenyan shillings in motorsport in the past 2 decades in a bid to open more opportunities for drivers and navigators to develop and commercialize through their passion for motorsports and elevate Kenya's standing as a premier motorsport destination. Reporting for GBS TV, I am John Kinyanjui.
The second edition of the Loop Safari Gravel Series was officially launched at Karura Forest, ushering in what promises to be an exciting year for Kenya cycling enthusiasts. Organized by Amani Project in partnership with Loop Digital Finance Services, the series aims to nurture cycling talent and elevate Kenya's position as a top global cycling place.
4-leg 2025 series will start off at Tatu City on February 1st, Machakos on March 8th, Naivasha on June 15th, and conclude with the final flag at Vipingo on August 23rd. Participants will compete in 3 race categories, including 12 kilometers loop, 60 kilometers loop, and 20 kilometers loop, designed to cater to the professional, recreational, and amateur cyclists. The Naivasha event will once again be a qualifier for the prestigious International Cycling Union Gravel World Series, solidifying Kenya's position as a premier global cycling destination. Beyond cycling, each event will feature an engaging loop village, offering live music, games, and interactive activities for attendees of all ages. Additionally, as part of Loop's sustainability agenda, the series will also involve tree planting activities at each venue, contributing to the protection of Kenya's natural ecosystems. Reporting for GBS TV, I am John Kinyanjui.
Well, Paul, this is the last day of January, right? How do you say January? Oh, nice. And that's all we had for you tonight at GBS News at 9. It is always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Stephen George, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Paul Mathenge. Have yourself a wonderful night.
Everywhere, GBS.